Hello, dieters. My name is Jenny. I'm coming to you with an update now that we are going to be good on our hCG round, right? Right? And by we, I mean I. It just makes me feel better to think that other people might possibly be in the same boat as me and need to occasionally just abandon ship and restart. But that being said, what I'm going to talk about today is information that I found in the protocol when I was doing some research for today's video about kind of stopping and starting and interruptions that you foresee in the future. Because as I talked about in yesterday's video, I see many problems in my foreseeable future when it comes to the diet and what they recommend doing in those situations. Not all ideal and not all what I was planning on doing, so it's something I'll have to digest and kind of figure out on my own. So I told you yesterday that I'm going to be good now. I have a goal. I have a foreseeable future. I have the warm weather of LA coming up very soon. I think there's actually 29 days in this month. Isn't this leap year? I think this is leap year, which is awesome because it gives me one more day before I have to go. But I essentially have 1 month because I think I leave on the 28th and today's the 27th of February. I have 1 month to get it together. All right. And I kind of went into starting the drops and doing loading on the cusp. I should have just loaded throughout the weekend. That's what I should have done. It should have been a food fest, but I just started the diet. And so I didn't want to go back into loading again. And, I think I can be good. And then I'm not. So in hindsight, I kind of lost 2 days on this diet because I started loading after my weekend of visiting my daughter at her college. At any rate, it is what it is, right? Here we are. Let me first apologize. It just came to my attention. I typically don't listen to these videos, as you can tell, because yesterday one popped up on my feed when I was doing some YouTube research with hCG, and in my most recent video that I just posted popped up, and I thought, and I clicked on it, and you can barely hear me. The audio in my Manicam was not connected to my headset, which means that's how I also taught all my classes that morning. And that one child said, "I can't hear you." So at any rate, I fixed it. A couple classes in this morning, I remembered it. Somehow, something with my microphone made me think about it. And it should be recording through the headset and this microphone and not the microphone on the laptop, which is good for nothing, which is what I used yesterday. Okay. So my apologies for that. I'm not always aware, clearly, and I'm not technologically savvy. So, okay, yesterday was my first day of eating on P2, and I'd have to say I did pretty good. I had a little lapse. I wasn't even going to tell you about this, honestly. As I was doing it, I thought, I don't even have to put this in the video. Honestly, talk about justifying your failures. There was so much good food down in the kitchen, and I avoided all of it. But there was some cheese popcorn. What was the cheese and caramel popcorn from Costco, whatever that brand is. It's like the best cheese and caramel popcorn out there anywhere. What is that called? There's a name for that. Cheese and caramel together in a bag. There's a name for that type of popcorn blend. Anyway, one of those big Costco size bags my husband had picked up from Costco. One of my big weaknesses, huge weakness, is this brand of cheese and caramel popcorn. And I avoided it all day. And I actually literally had a handful of it the last night that I was doing loading. I saw him. It was, it's near the bottom. He managed to polish off the whole bag. I mean, we all have issues with portion control, but he's a guy. And he's a guy whose metabolism doesn't work like my metabolism. And it sucks. I tell you, it's not fair. It's just not fair. Because guys don't really care if they gain weight. We care. And it's difficult for us as women. Guys don't care. And their metabolisms are so much better. It's not right. Anywho, I had a handful of that. Mostly cheese. I tried to just grab, and when I say handful, I mean probably a couple handfuls actually. because I tried to reach in and pick out, and I had a bowl there, so probably 2 handfuls. Not good. Anyway, my numbers were really good today, and I think psychologically I kept thinking, I ate so good today compared to how I've been in the past week, I have to lose weight. And you always lose weight the first day after loading, right? Yeah. So, there was also a bowel movement, which I don't have every day. And, of course, I went a couple days of loading without having one. So obviously, I always like to track those too. I just remembered I like to track when I'm on the treadmill and track when I have a bowel movement and how that affects everything. So I did get on the treadmill for my hour. I ate a bed of lettuce with cooked up cod on top of it. And no butter. I did spray a little bit of butter spray, 0-calorie butter spray on the fish right after it came out, and then kind of blended it with so I really kind of had a butter spray dressing, if you will. I mean, it was just a light coating, but it was just something to give a little bit of flavor to and have the salt stick. And, the butter tastes good with the cod. At any rate, bed of that, 1 piece of fish. That was it. That's all I had. A little bit of extra, literally less than a small handful of vegetables left over from my retreat. There's still some mixed vegetables. I'm never going to do that again. I'm going to do the potatoes. I don't do the potatoes because I have so much leftover food from these events that I want to try to be a little bit healthy, but these mixed vegetables don't last that long. And I don't know, as much as I love all of them in there, they have like cut up red peppers and carrots and green beans and cauliflower. I mean, it looks like mixed vegetables I would love, but somehow I don't know what the sauce is they prepare it in. Maybe it has a little bit of a vinaigrette to it, and I typically don't like any vinaigrettes. That's probably what it is. There's probably some sort of vinaigrette on the whole thing, and that's why, to me, it tastes like, ooh. If it would just be a butter sauce, we would be in good shape. And there is butter sauce on it as well, but there's another flavoring there that kind of makes me not want to eat it. Nevertheless, I ate a few of the vegetables and they weren't tasting that good, so I was picking them out and throwing them away. So I really didn't have that much food. So I justified the popcorn. And indeed, the scale was my friend this morning. And it said I lost 3.6 pounds. All right. This is a post loading scale weigh-in. So did I lose 3.6 pounds? No. Did I lose some water? Yes. Did I have a bowel movement? Yes. All of these come into play with what the scale is reflecting. But I will say that I felt really good last night in bed already. So whether it's the shrinking of my body from the water retention being lost or whatever, but like for day 1 on the diet, felt really good. And I love that feeling because it makes you excited to stay the course. Okay. Last night, I'm teaching classes. I had a lot of classes to teach in the evening. With the coronavirus, these kids are not in school. They're doing online schooling. They're not allowed to, depending on where my kids are in China, some of them are not permitted to leave their homes at all, other than 1 day a week to go to the local grocery store. They're quarantined basically in their homes. Some homes, I guess, are getting delivered groceries through a window, depending on the areas they're in. My students who are in the highly affected areas have tended to gone back to villages or back to grandparents' homes that live other places, and just got out of the area altogether. Other people don't have that option. At any rate, whether it's overkill or not, they are the kids are definitely not back at school because everything gets spread in schools, right? Okay. So my evenings, I could work a lot. I know why. One of my favorite kids requested to have a class at 9:30 in the evening. So that would take me till 10 o'clock at night. I am normally sound asleep by 9. So to work until 10 means I don't fall asleep till at least 10:30, and I had to get up at 4 to teach my first class at 4:30. But I did it anyway because I thought, you know what, this is short-lived. The coronavirus, according to one of my children that I talked to, or actually it was the father, the child was getting home late from something. It was really cute seeing her walk in with her little mask on, and she started walking over to the computer, and Dad's like, "No, no, no, go wash your hands." Like, I mean, they're being very preventative over there in China. So he told me that, what did he tell me? What did I start talking about? What was I talking about? Oh, he told me that that day in China, according to the news, they had no um, additional cases. So it was a good day, and it looked like it's getting contained, and that it's now going to be on the decline, that they have control of it. He said that there are other places that it's now going on the rise in different countries where it's spread to, which is unfortunate. But they think that in China, they're going to start bringing it down. Okay. Do you care? I don't know. I mean, it is worldwide news. So maybe you do care. I have an insight into China. I could talk to the people about it. So, okay, that being said, normally on a weeknight, the kids are all in school because it's during the morning in China. All these kids are at home. So, depending on their online schedules, they are interested in taking classes at kind of all times of the day. They don't have to wait until the evening anymore. They can take it during the day since they're home. It gives them something to do. All right, so I taught a lot of classes last night. I'm teaching the classes, and I'm smelling something that smells really good, and I couldn't quite put my finger on it. I'm so glad I couldn't put my finger on it because raw. I don't know if I would have given it or not, but when I first did this diet, and the first couple times I did the diet, at this point, when I go on and off of it, I'm pretty good about just monitoring myself, and everybody else doesn't even know when I'm really doing the diet in the house. And because I kind of, in the past couple months, have been on it a decent amount, and then I had just had this sort of fail. I don't like to make the announcement anyway. So the fact that I've been eating a lot and I had the handful, my husband didn't know those were loading days. He just thought that I'm eating like I normally eat. It's not his fault, but he came home with Costco pizza. The Costco combo pizza is like my Achilles heel. I love it. So I'm sitting here and I'm like, oh, I smell there's something in the toaster or something. And that's kind of how we reheat it. I love to reheat it in the toaster because it gives just a very, very, very thin crispness to the bottom because there's a lot of soft. Anyway, it's the best way to reheat it is in the toaster oven. It doesn't make it hard and crunchy, the whole pizza. The whole pizza is still soft and the crust is still soft, but it puts just a little crunch at the bottom because the pizza tends to be quite soft and floppy. It makes it easier to eat too because the pieces are so big and they're hard to hold. That's what it was. I didn't know that's what it was. I just knew it smelled really good. And then I just refocused myself and I thought, oh, it's late. I need to get to sleep. I'm going to be getting up early. This morning I went down to get some more of my drink before I started my classes, and I see the big box sitting right there across from the refrigerator on the island. Cracked open the lid and I saw that there were still 3 pieces. He did half and half cheese, half combo, because my son prefers just the cheese. I got to get this teenager to start eating healthier. And nevertheless, yeah, there were at least 2, maybe 3 pieces left. He ate the rest of the other half, which is a lot of pizza. But yeah, here I go. I'm going to be so good. I'm going to be so good. You know, it doesn't help to have I have 5 things that are like, oh, so hard for me to resist. And that was one of them. The things I told my husband is don't make anything in the toaster oven because I love toast. The smell of toast is very, very hard for me to resist. Don't bring home any Costco pizza, which smells good. He brought home Costco pizza, put it in the toaster oven. I mean, what's a girl to do? I'll tell you. So we'll see how today goes. All right. So I looked in the protocol and found that there is a section called Unforeseen Interruptions in Treatment. And I found this to be interesting. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and read it again. It's very short. And we'll talk about it briefly, and then that'll be it for today. It says, if an interruption of treatment lasting more than 4 days is necessary, the patient must increase his diet to at least 800 calories by adding in some milk, eggs, cheese to his diet after the 3rd day. Okay. Otherwise, he will find himself so hungry and weak that he is unable to go about his usual occupation. Okay. So an interruption in treatment means if you find yourself having to not do hCG because something is happening, then you need to increase your calorie count to 800 calories during this time that you're not taking the hCG until you get back on it. Now, if this interval is less than 2 weeks, all right, so if it's more than 4 days, now if he's saying if it's less than 4 days, just stay on the hCG. Or, I mean, yeah, if it's going to be less than, well, no, I guess what he's saying is if it's less than 3 days, don't take the hCG, but you can still stay on 500 calories. That's what he's saying. If it's more than 4 days, no, because he's saying if you're stopping the treatment, by stopping the treatment, it's very confusing for me. I apologize, because to me, stopping the treatment is stopping eating 500 calories. But really what stopping the treatment is stopping the hCG. So he's saying if you're going to stop hCG for less than 4 days, for 1 to 3 days, for whatever reason, continue eating the 500 calorie diet until you go back on it. Now, if you are going to stop doing the hCG for longer than 4 days, at that point, increase your calorie count to 800 calories. Don't go back to eating normal, he says. And this can be all the way up to 2 weeks, because he says if this interval lasts for less than 2 weeks, the patient can directly resume his 500 calorie diet. So anywhere up to 2 weeks, you can just go right back into eating 500 calories. I guess by that he means you don't need to load. I wish he would have said that specifically. But so I blew that. I should have just started on hCG and done the 500 calories. I should not have done the loading that I did. That being said, I'm very happy to see minus 3.6 on the scale. Okay. Oh, my weight today is 170.0. That's a good one. I like that. Which means tomorrow should be back into the 160s. Not that I should be thrilled that I'm in the 160s, because I was in the 150s before, but that's okay. I really got up there quickly, didn't I? Wow. In 2 weeks' time, I went from 158, essentially, to 170 again. Because then with loading, and then I came back down. So anyway, I digress. If I really focus on these numbers, I can really beat myself up over and over again. Okay. Now, if this interruption of not taking hCG lasts longer, than 2 weeks, if you know it's going to be longer than 2 weeks, then you're not supposed to be eating the 800 calories. You must resume normal eating. Okay. At that point. Okay. So I found that really interesting. I've never heard anything about that mentioned before, because basically you're on it or you're not on it. But since I kind of tend to be a mess, I found this very interesting and applicable to me. So maybe some of you, if you find yourself in this situation, will also find this information helpful. There's a little bit more that I want to go into. It says when a patient knows beforehand that he will have to travel and he will be absent for more than 4 days, it is better to stop injections 3 days before he is due to leave so that he can have 3 days of strict dieting, which are necessary after the last injection at home. This saves him from the almost impossible task of having to arrange the 500 calorie diet while en route, and he can thus enjoy a much greater dietary freedom from the day of his departure. I find this protocol to be interesting because I'm so used to scientific journals that are so medicalese, if you will, like legalese or motherese. Medicalese, it's probably not a term. Anyway, I've created it. Very medically and research sounding. He throws in flowery stuff in his protocol all the time. It saves him from the almost impossible task of having to arrange the 500 calorie diet while en route, and he can thus enjoy a much greater dietary freedom from the day of his departure. It's just much more conversational, which is nice. It makes it more enjoyable to read, definitely. Okay. Interruptions occurring before 20 effective interjections. So if you have an interruption that happens within your first 20 days of being on the hCG diet, are the most undesirable because with less than that number of injections, some weight is liable to be regained. After the 20th injection, an unavoidable interruption is merely a loss of time. Isn't that interesting? I find that interesting. So basically, he's saying, if you can go that 3 weeks, go that 3 weeks. After that, you're okay. Which makes me really happy because it used to make me happy because 3 weeks would have taken me right up to when I've gone to California, and then I could have weaned myself off, basically normally I still probably could do the 500 calories on my trip, but and I know I'll be exercising. I was thrilled with that, but now I have an interruption right in the middle on day 23 with my evening of alcoholic festivities with my girlfriends. Oh, well, we'll see. Let's just play it by ear. The best you can do is take it day by day, right? Yesterday was a good day. I ate really well. I had a little cheat, but that's okay. It's at the very beginning. I'm going to try not to have that happen again. We're going to try to get through this day without eating that combo pizza. Wouldn't it be lovely if my husband packed it up and just took it with him to work today? I doubt he did because he probably left it specifically for me because I didn't have any last night. Sure, it's sitting in the kitchen. Why is it so hard for me? Why is it so hard? I really have mental blocks when it comes to certain foods that I just in my brain feel like it's a favorite. Therefore, it's like my hall pass for food. Everyone has that hall pass that like, all right, if the situation were to come, you can sleep with this guy. It's like your ultimate, right? It never happens. So everyone creates hall passes because, the situation will never arise. I feel like I create hall passes with food. Well, when this food's in front of me, it's my favorite. It's not fair to say that I have to decline myself. That's not the word I was trying to think of. Deny myself that pleasure. All right. That's all I was going to go over today. I'm going to talk a little bit about muscular fatigue, possibly, and other reasons for weight gain. Those are both two topics that are around this area that I think I'm going to talk about soon to you. We'll see how tomorrow goes. The goal today is fish and lettuce. I got to eat up that lettuce. So I don't have any other meats really in my house to eat. I've got meatballs. That's not ideal. I'll look around for some chicken, but I don't think I have any chicken left. I think we ate it all up. I might have. No, I think we ate it all up. So I think fish is it. I think I saw one more piece of the codfish in there, though. So that should be good, that I can be really, really good today. We'll see if you know what, I feel like in the back of my brain, there's part of me that's like, or you can have a salad with a piece of Costco pizza cut up on it. Wouldn't that taste good? Yeah, it would. I think if you all know me well, you know what's going to happen tomorrow when I get here. It would be devastating to be day 2 on the diet and gain weight, though. And since I had a bowel movement yesterday and I lost 3.6 pounds, which is a lot of water loss, a slip like eating a piece of pizza can really throw me for a loop. So I really, I need to get myself into ketosis. I really do. Soon I'm going to talk a little bit about hCG 2.0 as well, which is like a modified hCG diet. And I kind of do hCG 2.0. I don't intend to, but I sort of feel like, and this is probably good for me. I probably shouldn't try to do hCG 2.0 because I find myself slipping and doing little cheats and justifying things. So I feel like if I try to stick to the original protocol, my slips and cheats will be closer to hCG 2.0, which is an actual diet that people do and lose weight on too. And let's face it, I go on this diet, I lose a half a pound a day, even with me not being great. So, we'll talk about that in a future episode coming up soon. This is all for today. You take care. Have a good day. Good luck to you. Let me know if you have any foods that are your Achilles heel. Put them down below. Make sure you subscribe, like, and click on the bell so that you get an email notification when I post a new video. Take care. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.